Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the ESL Hearthstone Legendary Series, Season 2, Week 2. Cameron Camdozer Reed here, joined by TJ, Asimo Cutie Sanders. We just saw some pretty surprising results from Group A. Now we're moving into Group B, which is just as stacked as Group A was. Is it possible, given especially how the first group went, to even make a prediction here?
No. And, I mean, we've seen some new cards with Blackrock Mountain coming out, and the meta's changing. It's getting a little bit slower, so some players are still trying to adjust a little bit and find out what's good. In the first series, of course, you see there, Lemurian moved on with the 2-0 score to go to the semifinals automatically. Luffy is eliminated with his 0-2 score, and of course, Tom and Calento will move on to face the elimination match tomorrow. Now, for Group B, I mean, like you said, it's just a stack.
Yeah.
Trump, everybody knows Trump.
Right.
Roger, he just finished second at the Vi-Game House Cup. He's had a lot of great performances in the beginning of 2015 and the end of 2014, part of YE Spiders, the Taiwanese team, that group of Taiwanese players that collaborate with each other. Tom, Roger, Pin Ping Ho, Wei Fu, Frozen Ice. Silent Storm, the winner of Hearthstone Legendary Series Season 1, who made it back through the Challenger Cup exactly like he did the first time around. And, of course, you saw on your screen Leadpaint, who...
Yeah, probably the lone wild card in that group.
Wild card is definitely a good word to describe him.
Yeah, so we'll see how it shakes out. Now, the first match of Group B is going to be Trump versus Leadpaint. So we'll see pretty quickly what Leadpaint kind of has in store for us.
Yeah.
As far as his classes that he's going to be bringing, it is Druid, Mage, and Hunter.
Yeah.
Nothing too surprising there.
No. And you can see he's part of GNC. No, it's not the Hell Store. He's not sponsored by the Hell Store. It's actually Grand National Champions, which is a team that's managed by none other than Caseytron.
The incomparable.
Yes. And they speak very highly of her in the GNC boys.
Now, the first match is going to be Trump with this Paladin versus a Mage. We'll see what kind of Mage it's going to be, but I think it's safe to predict it's probably this mid-range Paladin that we're used to seeing, and one that Trump's been streaming a lot with lately.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm a little bit surprised by Trump's deck choices, because usually he goes with just like the standard Paladin, Druid, Warlock lineup, which is safe, average. But he's going with the Mage, and he has a Warrior as well, which he's been playing some, but definitely not as much experience with it as, like, say, the Warlock, which he uses to climb almost every season.
Right.
First Hunter we've seen today from Leadpaint.
It's actually the only Hunter in either group.
Wow.
Which was a real surprise for me. I know that the meta has been slowing down a little bit, but Hunter is Hunter. It's got such a high win rate in so many matchups.
Well, when the meta slows down, it's like the perfect time to play Face Hunter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because people are starting to get greedy with their tech choices. Eventually, we'll start to see double BGH start to come back. And, I mean, you saw Calento earlier. He had Ysera. Right. Like, what are you going to do with Ysera? You'll never play that in any Face Hunter match. I don't think a Warrior has ever been able to play. No, that's wrong. But, I mean, you get what I'm saying. It's just people will start to get greedier as the meta gets slower, and that's the perfect time to break out the Hunter.
Right. Yeah, so a little bit surprising. And I'm also... I guess it goes back to what you were saying earlier, the reason that I still find myself in the old mindset of play the class that has the most likely chance to win immediately. Yeah. You know, because there's the chance that you just 3-0 out. Yeah. And I'm still finding myself stuck in that mindset, so I'm almost a little surprised you didn't go Hunter. Yeah. But as we see that he's going with, but it is a Mech Mage, so that's still pretty good matchups on the whole.
Same deal. And I was thinking over the break what Lemurian cut from his, and it was Mirror Entities and Mad Scientists.
Right.
And that's 4 cards that you're cutting. Yeah. Which are huge tempo plays against the right classes. Yeah. But he values the having a stronger curve early on, a more consistent curve early on. And so I actually like this variation better because I feel like Mad Scientist is one of the strongest cards in the game.
Oh, I completely agree. I mean, the value that you get for the mana you spend, especially as a mage, it's 5 mana of value. Yeah. That you just spent 2 mana to get, you know. And the other thing that I really love about the Mirror Entity in this Mech Mage is it forces your opponents into these really weird turns where there's a lot of times if I'm playing against a mech mage, I see that secret, I know exactly what it is. I still don't have a clean card to lay down. I don't want to give him a piloted shredder. I don't want to give him any of these really nasty cards, and I don't have a zombie chow or something to just let him take, you know. Now, I do like the play to go ahead and trade into the Knife Juggler. There's always the fear of a huge Muster for Battle Knife Juggler combo that's just going to wreck your entire board early on.
And he also got value out of the Mech Warper while he was alive. He was able to break out a Spider Tank a turn earlier.
Yep.
Force the Outdoor Peacekeeper out. And now he's sort of like a turn ahead, I guess you could sort of say it. And Trump's on his back foot. He's having to sort of play catch-up instead of...
That's a good toss, though.
Yeah.
I mean, either toss other than the face would have been great, but that one I really like because he gets more value out of the Peacekeeper this way. It's most likely to get a 2-for-1 at this point.
Yeah. Now this is where Mad Scientist comes into play a lot.
Yeah.
And
and this is when it really hurts to see in a mid-range deck, is when you're about to start trying to get into your mid-range cards. Now he does pick up a mini bot. That feels not so bad to let them have.
Give him mech synergy though.
Yeah, that's true.
But a big thing to notice there is how he chose to ping the Divine Shield off instead of playing his Snow Chugger. Because Snow Chugger is such a valuable card in this matchup. He doesn't want that Divine Shield thrown in and effectively doing 2 damage instead of 1 damage, because whatever it would have been thrown into would have done more than that. So this way his board still effectively trades in, but he preserves an extra card in his hand, which is going to be more valuable later on.
All right, now see how he wants to handle these trades. I mean, either way, it's going to be an empty board, but then probably just has to play the mini bot. What's nice about this too is that he doesn't get the secret from the Mad Scientist, because the Mad Scientist died when he already had the same secret up. Or did I have that completely wrong?
He didn't have any secrets up.
Ah, okay. I'm sorry. Moving right along, then. Let's just forget about all of that business.
Yeah, he didn't have a secret up.
See, I see the Mad Scientist, and I automatically count it as, okay, so he's got this secret up.
Yeah, he's got. You basically think that he's already has Mirror Entity.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Spectator Time Machine.
Huh. Now, I guess he's giving a lot of respect to the Quartermaster there by clearing the 1-1 instead of the mini-bot.
Yeah. Well, either way, that mini-bot's going to trade into the other mini-bot.
Yeah.
So this way he gets 2-for-1.
What to do?
Ooh, wow. Gets Mirror into his actual hand. That's not the best, but it's going to... Oh, wow. He's actually not going to play it.
Wow. That's surprising.
Yeah.
So what's he going to do with his hero power, though? Just the face?
I would say Mirror Entity would be almost an automatic play because he has Archmage Antonitis in his hand as well. Okay.
Okay, he does. There we go.
Yeah, that's basically a fireball.
Yeah, I was going to say, how are you throwing that away?
Gain +1 health. Do 6 damage for 4 mana. That's what that card is.
Yeah, in another situation where you don't really love giving him one of these minions. It's still a 2/5 body, even though he doesn't get the synergy with any of his hero power.
Yeah. It's always great to kill it immediately. Now, Pilot Sky Golem would feel good to play it on. Well, it wouldn't be on curve, but it'd feel good to play it here. But it's always risky playing anything big until Sylvanas, because he can make it so that he trades his board to make it a really high chance for him to just
I was going to say
take it.
It seems as though he would want to, on this turn, run the... Let me think about this. Probably the Snow Chugger into the 3/3, and then use his 3/4 to kill Sylvanas, or do it a opposite way. I'm trying to think of how to not give Sylvanas any sort of a steal. I guess freezing her for a turn and just going face also accomplishes that, just for the time being.
Yeah. Still, Trump is pretty healthy. I mean, 23 health is definitely a good amount to be at on turn 7, turn 8.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Tyrion comes down, and there's really no way to deal with this.
No, there's not much of an answer here, other than throwing everything you've got at it, including a Frostbolt right now.
Leadpaint.
All right, so he can Hero Power Tyrion, run both of these minions in, hope for the best out of the Shredder.
Yeah, he could.
And then, oh goodness.
Yeah, that's what he's going to do. And, I mean, he could even throw Frostbolt into Sylvanas, give him an Echoing Ooze.
Yeah,
It's not the worst thing in the world.
Let him have it.
Yeah. That's a lot of damage that you're giving up. He's running out of cards, giving him an Ashbringer still.
Yeah, you can't put the Golem down because then that just leaves him the easy, just, all right, run Sylvanas into your Ooze then and take a free Sky Golem, no problem. No, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, he doesn't want to use that Frostbolt, so he's going to wait next turn, ping it, and then he can play something else.
Yeah, he's also got Antonidas in hand and a couple cheap spells, so he might just be thinking, all right, burst, 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 survive a couple turns.
He could be.
That's rough.
Yeah, he has to deal with the Sylvanas first. Ping Sky Golem here.
Yeah.
Cogmaster, maybe even just to put it down, but he wants to buy himself some time, which is probably the smart play.
Yeah.
Another Piloted Shredder.
Wow. Trump just really loves those high-value cards. Anything that trades 2 for 1 on average,
Yep.
you can guarantee he'll be running it.
Yep.
Wow, and he's putting a ton of pressure down. Is there anything that he can pick up here? Fireball, does that buy him a turn? Let's see what he can do here.
Yeah, I mean, he can start doing, he can trade in with this Piloted Sky Golem. Hope he gets something good. The Piloted Shredder.
Right.
Archmage, Frostbolt. Start putting fireballs in his hand and maybe start trading up. But
so you can get Tazdingo out of a Golem. That would be a good one.
Or the oh man, the 2/5 taunt that
Arcane Nullifier.
Yeah,
yeah, there's one.
That can be targeted by spells.
Gosh, even then though, he's already getting so low. So if he runs
Corkron Elite.
the Golem, yeah, Corkron Elite would actually be really nice right now. He's thinking about what he has to do here. Not just to buy a turn necessarily either, but to actually get back into this game and to have an actual solid footing in it and a chance to win.
Yeah.
Wow, so he's going to go for Antonidas, huh? Yeah, I think definitely first check what comes out of each of those.
Oh, no!
Oh!
It doesn't really affect it that much. But
it just immediately concedes.
It made it so that he couldn't armor plate and get another fireball, which could have maybe closed him out the game. But
so I think the best case scenario there for him is when he kills Trump's Shredder, that it is a Doomsayer that pops out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a 1 in how many cards chance?
Yeah. There's not really anything like over the top at the 4 slot.
Yeah.
That can like win you a game.
Mm-hmm.
It's like very average. There's no like 3/5 is like what's the best case scenario.
Right.
There's no like Millhouse 4 mana Millhouse like an 8/8.
Right.
That could cost 4 mana. 1 mana up, you get a Fell Reaver, but even then, that's probably not the best case scenario. Sometimes
yeah,
it can backfire.
That's right. Punishing Fell Reaver always feels pretty nice.
It's a pretty decisive first win for Trump.
Yeah, absolutely. And so now, if you're Leadpaint and you're going up against a player like Trump, who everybody knows, how do you try to keep your mental fortitude about you and stop any potential thought going down the path of, oh my gosh, what am I doing here? Did I just top deck my way? Like, what's going on? Because obviously he's got skill, otherwise he wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
But how do you prevent yourself from going down that path?
You just got to tell yourself that you got nothing to lose.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, every player that's playing today gets $200 just for making it this far.
Yeah.
So unless it's $200 for everybody and $1,500 for first place, plus that ticket to the land final. He's always going to have a second chance. So at this point, he has to say, why am I going to let myself tilt? I have nothing to lose. Even if I lose this match, I'm still in because I can go to the loser's match. I want to get this turn or get this game to sort of feel out how the tournament works, how my decks are working, how I should play my decks, how I should pick my matchups. And Leadpaint was actually the guy that when I talked to him yesterday, he said he believes he's an average player with above average luck, is what he told me. And I was like, come on, man.
That's just got to be
some credit.
Yeah, that's got to be just being modest.
Yeah, this guy took out a lot of people on his way. I think he got knocked down pretty early, which meant he had to win a lot more than the other players to get to the Legendary Series. So I think he won something like 10 best of 5s, and a lot of them were against pretty decent players.
Well, he's up against it here versus a warrior, which I think we can presume to be a control warrior.
Yeah.
Has a lot of answers for some of the mech mage cards
Yeah.
that exist there. But if he can, let's say, get a snow chugger established early,
Hide it behind an Anoyotron.
hide it behind, right, there's always that chance.
Yeah.
But I would say this matchup probably favors Trump again.
I actually might disagree a little bit.
Yeah?
It's very close, but I think the Mech Mage has it probably like 52-48.
Okay.
I've played both of these. These are probably my first being control warrior, my third most played decks being Mech Mage.
Okay.
And so I've played a lot of backwards and forwards. I've played a lot of Mech Mage as control warrior, played a lot of control warrior as Mech Mage. And like looking at my win rates over time and what I struggle with, the Mech Mage has more chances to run away with the game than the warrior has to stall it out.
Okay.
And even if a warrior does manage to stall it out, sometimes the Mech Mage can just pull something out again that just makes it even tougher.
Sure.
It's a hard matchup sometimes for Mech Mage because you have to make difficult choices. A lot of times I find myself just frostbolting the face early on.
Okay. Yeah.
Just to protect the board that I have.
Sure,
Because a lot
sure.
of times they're relying on that weapon next turn to plan what they're going to do. Brawl is a huge card.
Yes. Yeah, it absolutely is.
I would
Yeah,
keep
I
it
just-
in my hand.
Yeah, I think I might as well, especially because I'm on coin.
Ooh.
All right. But back to what we were talking about earlier, I feel as though the warrior just has so many incredibly efficient ways to remove minions.
Yeah.
You know, that I've found a lot of my mech mage games, I run out of steam and it's only turn like 6.
Yeah.
Maybe, and I'm already down to Antonitis and a spare part.
Yeah.
And it's just, you know, like a chip and a prayer in a poker tournament at that point.
There can be those helpless games. But
Yeah.
then I feel there's also those games where you just curve out so nicely.
Of course, yeah. In any matchup, there's those games where you just have everything, they have none of it, and so you get a win that way.
Yeah. Something happens like this where you hide a Mech Warper behind an Anoyotron.
Yeah, which
He's got to like
God, how
cool
do you even
Taskmaster
deal with that?
execute.
Yeah.
And then he just has Goblin Blast Mage to follow it up next turn.
I think that's still his play though, yeah.
Yeah. Now he still has Coin, Sludge Belcher next turn, so there's still a lot of answers, but
Yeah.
this is the point of the game where it becomes quite difficult.
Alright, so the Blast Mage is gonna go down here. Wow.
Worst Blast Mage ever.
Terrible. That's incredible. That's actually really pretty good news.
That's terrible.
For Trump in this situation. You can see it a little bit on his face. He keeps it pretty Stonewall Jackson for the most part,
Yeah.
but I can kind of see the little smirk behind
Oh,
those
man.
hands on his face right now.
Like
And Leadpaint looks visibly disappointed
he
in
can
that.
even Despite here. Before it was like automatic Coin, Sludge Belcher.
Yeah.
And now he can Despite, clear off this Anoyotron. And that's
Yeah.
a luxury he wouldn't have been able to have. He
Yeah.
would have had to play the Sludge Belcher, and then he would have been at the mercy of whatever Leadpaint had.
Right.
So now he's the one with the initiative. That's big. That's
Yeah.
really big.
Oh, wow. And now if he chooses to ping, too, which he doesn't really have anything to follow up this turn if he chooses to ping,
Yeah.
which means the Taskmaster most likely is going to survive this turn even.
Yeah, well, see, this is...
Frostbolt. Yeah, to the face. That makes sense.
See, these are the turns where someone would say, oh, just play a Potted Shredder, just go face.
Sure.
But he's at 15 health.
Yeah.
He's got Antonitis plus a Fireball already in his hand. He can't attack. He's got to play Sludge Belcher here, which could get dealt with, I mean, in many different ways. It's really tough. And Mirror Entity is a tough card for Warriors to deal with.
Yeah.
Because even if you give them an Acolyte.
All right. I'm starting to believe I may be conceding the point to you. I believe maybe that Mech Mage is absolutely...
And imagine...
Even if it is 52-48, though.
Imagine if he had gotten the kill with on the Cruel Taskmaster.
Yeah.
So
It'd be even, yeah.
Now this is the point of stabilization here, because he's got Sludge Belcher plus an Armorsmith to hide behind it. He just has to make sure he finds his way back into the game somehow.
Right.
And I mean, he could do it next turn. He clears this off. He could be sitting at like 11 health.
Yeah. If there's one class, too, that has sort of just endless comeback mechanics, though. He's already got Alexstrasza in turn, and he's very, if you notice, held the coin this entire time, too.
Yeah.
Probably thinking about Alexstrasza. If I get really low, then she can always pull me back into this game.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple shield maidens in there, presumably shield blocks.
And Armor Smith behind a taunt is just really problematic for mech mages.
Yeah, especially one that is 2 targets if you don't silence it.
Yeah. Like if he didn't have Sludge Belcher here, he might just lose because he doesn't have any effective ways to deal armor. 14 damage is nothing to a mech mage.
Yeah.
But that's a pretty clunky hand for him. Like next turn, what is he going to do? Piloted Shredder Mirror Entity to face off against the Sludge Belcher and an Armor Smith?
Right.
I'd say the Warriors or Trump's probably in a really good spot right now. But there's always potential, a lot of burst potential for mech mages. You never can really count them out.
All right, so he's going to put the Armor Smith down.
Coin Sludge Belcher, most likely.
Yeah, seems like it. He feels probably stable enough to not need to save that coin for an earlier Alexstrasza.
Yeah. And he's seen 1 Fireball, so he can be safe playing around like 10 to 12 health range.
Yeah, gets a couple armor out of that, so it's only like he took 3 to the face. And there's already a Fireball gone. There's a lot of definitely convincing reasons to make that play there.
Whoa. Draws a Frostbolt.
Yeah.
Archmage Antonidas Frostbolt. I mean, that's 9 guaranteed damage.
Yeah.
So... But
Oh,
this is
boy.
going to be so much armor gain from this Armor Smith.
Yeah, it is. Oh, wow. Gosh, you're just getting so low, though. Look at him thinking, too, about, is it safe?
He can gain back all that health just from 2 attacks plus an armor up.
Yeah.
So. Oh, what?
What? Even Leadpaint's like, not 100% sure what to think about that.
That's
He's
bad
like,
for him.
Yeah, he's like, I don't think that's good, but
It's not going to clear either of these off. And it's also just going to give
it's
Trump
just
an
going to give a
absurd
ton
amount
of armor. Especially if he uses the Taskmaster. Just,
Yeah.
all right, yeah.
Okay, thanks for the 3 armor. I mean, it's kind of wasteful.
Yeah, I think so.
But who cares?
Yeah, then again, at this point, you need to kind of fight for your life. As you've already taken so much damage, so...
Oh, and the mirror
And all
entity,
it gives
of
him
course.
is, the Taskmaster, which feels pretty good.
So he gained actually a lot from that because now he has a taunt in the way of this Armor Smith. Most likely he can get pinged off, but he's actually sitting at more effective health than he was at the beginning of the turn. Despite
Whoa!
Oh man!
Oh boy!
Because Sylvanas,
All right.
if he attacks into Sylvanas with the Fire War Axe in order to clear it off cleanly,
Yeah.
he'll be sitting at like 12 health at the end of the turn. He can just Archmage Antonidas, then Frostbolt, have 2 Fireballs the following turn. He's going to have to Alexstrasza himself.
Yeah, he is going to have to.
And then does he even have a way to deal with Antonidas?
I was going to say, but can he kill the Antonidas in the meantime
and
before...
he pinged off the Armor Smith, so...
Oh.
Wow. And, oh my goodness. He has a way to steal his opponent's Sylvanas too if Trump played the Sylvanas, because he could Fireball his own Sylvanas.
Right.
After he killed off the Sledge, and he's basically back to square one. And that's probably exactly what he's going to do. Or he could just use a... No, I think you'd want to use the Fireball in that situation.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. We'll see if he's going to get cheeky and a little fancy here.
I think you go for it. Attack into his Sludge, Fireball your own Sylvanas. You get a perfectly healthy Sylvanas, plus you can play a Spider Tank and ping his face.
Yeah. That feels pretty strong.
We'll see if he sees it, though, because I think that's obviously the best play. Now, another play that he could make would be to, like, Archmage and then Frostbolt his opponent's Sylvanas.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's very risky. This is just surefire. Okay.
He's doing it. Very well played. All right.
And now he's got 8 damage showing
8 damage
on board.
showing. He's going to do next turn Antonidas Frostbolt. So that'll be 11. Trump has to Alexstrasza here. But even then, gosh, Alexstrasza just for the health into a Sylvanas?
I mean, he probably has to attack here, execute, and play a naked BGH and armor up.
Oh, he's just dead.
Or he can,
Yeah,
or
'cause
he
then-
can brawl, then execute whatever's left.
Okay.
Because he knows he only has 2 cards left. He's not going to flood the board.
Right.
I mean, brawl is basically like a single target removal in this situation. He's going to hope that it gets.
And if he's been paying careful attention, which Trump always does,
Oh, yeah.
he notices too that one card, Antonidas, has been in the hand for an awful long time.
Since the opening hand.
Yep. So it's not probably a cheap mech or anything along those lines that would have been put down by now already.
Yeah.
Pretty safe to assume it's Antonidas.
Yeah.
And it's probably not Dr. Boom either, because Dr. Boom, well, you'd have played that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, tough decision here.
Yeah, the brawl plus execute whatever's left. But this animation takes a little bit.
Oh, it does, doesn't it?
I guess not that long. Oh, he gets the good target.
All right. So this, yeah, very nice. So this keeps him alive. So he's going to be down to...
But now he has no way to... He has to top deck? No, he can't even... He wouldn't even be able to do that. He'll have no way to deal with Antonidas.
He won't.
There's no way to proc the execute or shield slam. He has to Alex Strauss
Has
himself.
he used both Taskmasters? Because he has the BGH. He has, yeah. So you can't even kill him that way.
Ooh, shield block. But he can't do that.
Yeah, you can't. You have to Alex Straza, but that doesn't do it.
He's dead.
Yeah, he's absolutely dead. Trump knows there's a fireball in his hand.
He just double fireball plus Antonidas.
Yeah.
17 damage. That's exactly what he'd beat at.
I think
that would be exactly lethal.
You're going to need to shield block and get a shield slam off the top.
Yeah.
Shield slam off the top would be all right. That's not it. All right, so Leadpaint going to even up the series here.
Wow.
Versus Trump. Like it.
Very well played. And you can see he's looking
Trump
intently.
knows.
He's like, what could you possibly have? He's like, there's nothing. Second shield block would save him.
Yeah.
He'd be at 19 health.
Trump knows. I think at this point, I wonder why Trump hasn't just conceded yet.
He's trying to think of any possible way that he can make it out, but...
Yeah, there it is. There's the well played.
All right.
Trump chooses death. And Leadpaint, little newcomer to the competitive Hearthstone scene, making a bit of a splash here, taking the game off of Trump.
Yeah, and a pretty by-the-book mech mage play.
Yeah.
I said in the Warrior matchup, sometimes Frostbolting Phase, even though it feels weird.
Right, right.
It's best play. It bought him a turn. Gave him pretty much an extra 5 damage, which is what he had exact lethal at the end. If the Alexstrasza was played, it would have been exact lethal, which is like the most possible health that Trump could have gained. And just very well played. And Trump had answers early on. He got moderately lucky with the Goblin Blast Mage especially.
Yeah,
but
that's
just couldn't pull it out. Couldn't pull it out.
All right, so now he picks up the win with the Mech Mage. Trump going to go with the 80% perhaps to stick with the Warrior, according to Firebet's predictions at least of people's behavior. So now what do you come with maybe then to try to counter Trump's Warrior if you're Leadpaint?
That's tough. Not the Hunter. So Druid. Druid is really great against Warrior, especially now that Druids are even faster.
Yeah.
Because with Thorsan, it's just basically like you can fit more into your combo turn.
Right.
And extra hero power even just to make it a 15 damage instead of a 14 damage combo.
Yeah.
And mid-range Druid has just classically been strong against Control Warrior because they put out so much pressure. Their removal doesn't do much, and they use weapons by the time they get to that point where the mid game comes around and they're trying to stabilize. Combo comes out.
Yep. Well, so it's going to be Trump not sticking to the Warrior, actually going with the Mage. You think this is going to be a Freeze Mage, knowing Trump's style of play?
I'm not sure.
I mean, I know that Trump favors the heavy value, heavy control kind of style of play.
But I said earlier, I think players would be mistaken not to bring Mech Mage.
And Trump, if anybody's aware of that, Trump is as well.
Exactly. It's just so strong right now, and with the meta slowing down a little bit, it's still strong against a lot of slow decks. There's not really any decks that are popping up right now that are just going out of their way to counter Mech Mages.
Sure, sure.
People are putting in Thorsan, which is just like Mech Mage is like, I don't care.
Yeah, that means nothing to me.
Like you're going to combo me? I'm still at 30 health. You've been spending the entire game trying to remove my really annoying, powerful board that who cares if your spells cost a couple less?
Right. Now, it does go, we would be probably a little bit remiss to not mention that these players did have to submit their decks on Wednesday of this week,
Yeah.
which is why we're spending so much time talking about Thaurissan, and we're only seeing, the first week cards from Blackrock Mountain.
Yeah.
So, gonna have to wait until next show to maybe see the old Major Domo Executus turning your hero into Ragnaros brought out on this show.
It's always a little bit volatile to let the players play with cards that just came out.
Mm-hmm.
So the cards that were released this past week in this wing of Blackrock Mountain aren't being used in these guys' deck lists.
Right. All right, so it is a Mech Mage. Wow, and he picks up the Mech Warper. Double Mech Warper, Spider Tank, and Blast Mage. Is there a dreamier hand?
No.
If you're a Mech Mage?
Because if there's no answer to this Mech Warper, he can Mech Warper the next turn.
And Spider Tank.
And Spider Tank.
Yeah. Oh, man. And he can follow that up with a Shredder. Follow that up with a Blast Mage.
Oh, actually, he can just Mech Warper Shredder. Oh, no.
No.
Yeah, getting a little bit ahead of myself.
Yeah.
A little bit too excited.
Wow. Okay. So then... Okay. If this is the start that a Mech Mage gets...
Let's call it a day. We're packing up.
So that... Yeah, realistically, you're right. But what is the answer? I guess Innervate Sludge Belcher slows that down a bit.
Yeah.
That's pretty nice.
You can Innervate Sludge Belcher. The next turn, you can Paladin Shredder, and then concede.
Just hope for incredibly efficient trades somehow before you take too much damage.
But, I mean, you're thinking, wow, he's just going to empty his hand next turn.
Yeah.
He's hoping for, like, a Sylvanas on time or a huge Swipe. But Swipe isn't even that effective against Mech Mage most of the time.
No. You've got to put the Belcher down against this. It's the only thing that's going to slow things down in your hand, at least, to any point that'll be remotely manageable.
For sure.
All right. Yep. And he picks up on that fact.
Ouch.
Yeah, and I guess just face with the zombie makes the most sense as well.
Oh, no.
Oh, wow. All right.
Paladin Shredder, Clockwork Gnome. Just throw it all out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
People are probably
what do you have to worry about?
You look at this game without looking at the mana counts, you're like, oh, probably about turn 5, maybe turn 6. Nope. Turn 3.
Yeah,
Turn
and you've
3.
already gotten all the value you really want out of at least one of those Mech Warpers anyway, so just throw him into the Belcher. Who cares?
Yeah. He's thinking of whether or not he wants to use the Frostbolt.
The Frostbolt, right?
Yeah, if he uses the Frostbolt, he's still putting he probably still put the Clockwork Gnome on the board. He'll still most likely play the Paladin Shredder.
Well, he doesn't have the
Like
mana to do
mana.
both. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I meant like in the following turns.
Oh, in the following turn,
He'll still have Goblin Blast Mage next turn regardless.
Right.
Because there's... Well, actually, a swipe would... No.
No, it's not the
he's gonna
cleanest
have a mech
swipe.
no matter what.
Yeah.
So, unless he innervates hero powers.
Okay, so this can... Let's see.
You know what?
Yeah.
He could stabilize.
Yeah.
I mean, he could Wrath...
Wrath hero power, obviously.
Yeah. I might even be inclined to just Pilot Shredder this turn. So next turn you can Wrath and...
Shade. Yeah.
But I think he wants to get rid of that Mech Warper.
Yeah.
It's already done enough damage, but...
Yeah, that's a tricky thing to be able to convince yourself of when you're on the receiving end of Mech Warper Wrath.
Yeah.
Has he actually gotten all the value he cares to out of it? Like,
Yeah.
I have to get rid of it.
And he actually says, you know what?
But he makes a good read here.
There's nothing that you can play anymore that's going to scare me from that Mech Warper. So,
Yeah.
I like that. It's going to save him a damage later on, which really adds up.
And now, at this point, if you're the Mech Mage, do you just start pouring on damage?
Yeah, I think
Just
so.
Blast Mage all four to the face, hit him in the face, because you're already getting... Well, I guess Mad Scientist can always pull you some sort of crazy mirror entity.
Yeah. I would...
But you are...
Yeah.
I think that Trump is a little bit sad to see Leadpaint still at 25 health.
Yeah.
After the start that Trump had.
Yeah. And he matches his Paladin Shredder, so he does have Ancient of War. He's got the swipe. This Goblin Blast Mage is going to be pretty big, though. 'Cause
Yeah.
if it can take out the first ending of the Power Shredder, that could be a really big swing.
That's the dream right there.
Yeah. I was thinking he might even trade first to see, but that's just really risky. You might as well just go for it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no. I screw it. Just go for it.
Yeah.
We'll see what he's going to do. Always calculating his trump. Always thinking what gives him the best win percentage here.
Yeah. Actually, trading might be better. It'll give you a higher chance to kill whatever's on the board.
Well, yeah, whatever comes out will more than likely have maybe 2 health.
Yeah.
You know, unless it's Millhouse or old Natty P.
River Croc.
Yeah.
The almighty River Croc.
Hey, speaking of which, oh, wow, and that Blast Mage has got really good odds to clear this board
Yeah.
and shell 3 damage to the face.
Yep.
Beautiful. Quite a turn.
Throw a Clockwork Gnome on top of it. Just gonna get eaten by the swipe.
Yeah, I mean, what else can Leadpaint do here besides swipe? Oh wow, and it's really not a
Puts
very,
it out of swipe range.
puts it out of swipe range. Trump, the master, always knows.
It's still as good of a swipe as you're gonna get.
Yeah.
And I mean, this could put the Druid on the verge of stabilizing because next turn he could play Ancient of Lore.
It's true.
He knows that Trump only has 1 card left, so he's top decking.
Yep.
Tinkertown Technician is actually a pretty fantastic top deck.
Yeah, it is. Especially with the swipe already gone.
Yeah.
Okay, so Leadpaint pretty much has to. Okay, burns the armor plating too. Archmage, whatever. That's not what's gonna win this.
The Clockwork Gnome that could.
Yeah, I think you still got an Ancient Allure here.
Yeah.
Choosing the health over the cards.
He might just be dead though.
Well,
Water
wow, he
Elemental.
plays Water Elemental. That's that Trump value town selection right there.
Might be a Blingtron somewhere.
Ooh.
Somewhere in this deck.
Okay, so does Druid of the Claw rescue him? That would, so if you do 6 damage into the Druid of the Claw, then that would still leave 7, 8, plus your hero power, so you have 2 health if you Druid of the Claw.
Not a lot of health.
No.
2 is a very low number.
But you die. Well, not necessarily. So he's going to get the trade, obviously, then probably on the Tinkertown.
Did he just kill himself?
No,
Okay.
not yet. Depending on what Trump's able to pull. Obviously, he dies to Fireball here. What else does he die to?
I think that's it.
Yeah, I think that might be it. Oh.
Interesting.
Edgy choice. Doesn't want him to be able to just ping it.
Well, it gets rid of the mech synergy is the big thing there.
Yeah.
Maybe a Goblin Blast Mage is what he's... The second Goblin Blast Mage playing around slightly. Either way, the same amount of damage is going into his Druid of the Claw. So...
Wow. I think you just empty the hand here. You just freeze the Ancient.
Yep.
Yep.
Mirror, of
All
course, comes from the Mad Scientists. Some mech mages will run a counterspell, but it's very rare.
Well, that's not going to rescue him either, even with the heal.
Yep. Alrighty. Well, Trump,
There we go.
that mech mage is doing work. Doing work today.
Yeah, no kidding. And now let's talk a little bit about the inclusion of a water elemental
Okay.
into the mech mage. To me, that just seems so quintessentially Trump. Because at the 4-drop range, I don't know if there's a more valuable than the water elemental.
Yeah. Water Elemental, it's a read if you think there's going to be a lot of rogues, if you think there's going to be a lot of warriors.
There you go.
So we saw it the first week of Legendary Series with Caldi. He played the Water Elemental with the Blingtron Mage. Moderate success with it. And of course, like the original was like Raynad playing it a long time ago. He put the Blingtron in Mech Mage as well. Of course, dubbed it Blingtron Mage. Creative name. But yeah, I a lot of people are just putting in Water Elemental just for those that sort of a tech card against those two classes and not even putting Blingtron in.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it's so strong, hard to remove, and if you're playing against a lot of warriors and rogues, sometimes you can just lock them out. It's like a snow chugger on steroids.
Right.
So I personally don't like it because it's a little bit inconsistent, and at a 4-drop, you're already chock full of good 4-drops with the Blast Mage, the Shredder, Mechanical Yeti.
Yeah.
It's sometimes you get clogged with all those in your opening hand, and it becomes awkward. But I can see why players would put it in because, like you said, the value out of that thing is ridiculous.
All right. Well, now Trump has 2 chances to get 1 win with a Control Warrior. Feels pretty good, and he's going to be up against the Druid first.
Yeah. And Hunter.
And a Hunter. Yeah.
So the Druid is the tough one for him to get through.
Yeah.
The Hunter, probably not so much.
Yeah, so Leadpaint wants to, I guess he wants to hang into this series. He wants to try to at least force a Game 5 instead of going for the Hunter, which will traditionally get eaten alive by the Warrior.
Yep.
Instead of going with your strategy of, hey, got to win with it anyway, so let's just see how this goes.
Yeah.
Let's just go for it
Yeah.
because eventually it has to happen no matter what.
He's the momentum kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
If you think your opponent's an emotional player, then maybe winning a game could throw them off their groove.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know how much of an emotional player Trump is.
Well, he plays Gorehowl.
Yeah. Gorehowl is actually Fibonacci, who's one of the best Warrior players currently in the world. He was the rank 1 player for the March season as well as the February season.
Mm-hmm.
And he plays a lot of Warrior. He puts Gorehowl, and he's been putting Gorehowl in his Warrior decks recently. So he's like sort of the gauge of whether or not, like he's the Gorehowl meter.
Fibonacci.
Yeah, Fibonacci. Fibonacci, the Gorehowl meter.
Nice. All right. Yeah, I feel like Gorehowl's... I cannot remember how long ago it was that I dropped Gorehowl for my Control Warrior, but I feel like it was ages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When Deathspite came out.
Yeah, probably around that time. Probably right around Nax is when it makes the most sense.
Yeah. But if Fibonacci's doing it, I do it.
So there's a joke in there somewhere involving the Fibonacci sequence and math and stuff,
Yeah.
but I was a communications major, man. I don't have any idea what the joke actually is.
Yeah. Well, I'm a communications major as well, so
All right.
our brains don't really amount to as much as a normal human being.
They may not amount to a hill of beans in this world, but we do see the Shredder coming down from the Druid. And I guess you have to coin Deathspite and see what pops out of it. Yeah.
Hopefully something good.
Hopefully.
Pandora's box.
Yeah, that's essentially what you're opening every time you kill a Shredder.
I mean, it's a small, crappy box, but...
Hey, Loot Hoarder.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
I mean, that's fairly reasonable in a Druid, too. You're like, that's not so bad. I kind of want to cycle through a lot of my deck anyway to get to my combo. So you probably feel all right about that. Although it does just die to the Bite Death Rattle now.
Yeah. You want to get value immediately out of Acolyte of Pain in this matchup so it doesn't get silenced or just wrath down. So
Sure.
What now?
He doesn't. The only thing is he doesn't want to just sort of throw away that second Deathspite charge at the face.
Well, he did pick up off the top his other Deathspite.
Yeah, so that might make it a little bit.
It might
more
convince
likely.
him to be a little more liberal. Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
I wonder.
So he's probably thinking ahead here as well. Looking at his hand, thinking next turn I can always Belcher. Belcher always feels pretty good on turn 5.
Yeah.
Given most board states you'll ever find yourself in. So how greedy can I get here? And he goes fairly greedy here. Gonna kill the minion, pick up a card.
I always wonder, these players when they play against each other, they can see each other's webcams. And like I always see them like sneaking a peek at the other guy when he's on his turn. And it's so I'm always like waiting for that one moment where they like both like, look at each other at the same time. That have like an awkward like exchange of smiles or facial gestures.
Maybe some window love through the monitor.
Yeah. But they sort of, most of them try and stay away from looking at the other player, which I'm very disappointed in. I really want to simulate the experience of them playing right across from each other.
I feel like I'd be staring him down the whole time.
Yeah.
On his turn. Just
Or trying to distract him or make him laugh or something.
yeah. Yeah, there you go. Start picking your nose.
Yeah. Or every single turn have a different outrageous hat that you put on.
The problem with that, though, is that all of Twitch also sees that.
That's even better.
Do you really want to subject yourself to that? I mean, we do every day.
Yeah. Well, Leadpaint's on a team that's managed by Caseytron. So he was born and bred in the land of the Twitch.
On Twitch.
In the land of the Twitch. So.
All right.
Back to still the Warriors.
Yeah. Back to square one here.
Yep.
Another death spike going to come down.
Yeah, but see, he's taking damage every single turn.
Yep.
Takes a little bit more chunks of damage. He's having to play so reactively, dealing with these medium-sized threats.
Yeah.
With weapons, and that's exactly what a druid wants. Eventually, he'll draw into his combo pieces.
Yeah, and Leadpaint's already got Force of Nature in hand. Most druids that don't run double combo will still at least run double Savage Roar. So he's got higher likelihood sitting on that piece of it already to draw into combo soon. Just going to try to set up some damage. Even just one turn, I guess, of Thorsan is still amazing here. Because he knows that Trump can just clear it with the Death's Bite. But then he's already down to 15 health.
Yeah. And Trump's got to be thinking, he's got to use the execute here as a way to just sort of preserve health.
Right.
But how is he going to do that? He can attack face again, but throwing the second Death by charge to face is not the best because he won't have that reach damage later on in the game.
Right.
27, 23 health. There's not really much of a difference there. He would have a way to proc execute. He could throw it on Armorsmith as well to maybe gain some armor out of it. But going face here or hitting that, I guess Shield Maiden wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, I think that's probably the follow-up play. Still winds up back at 20 health.
Oh, wow.
Oh, going for a Thorsan of his own.
Yeah.
I like it. Might as well get greedy there.
I mean, look at his hand. He's got so many cards.
I was going to say, the impact that Thorsan just had on Trump's mana curve is substantial.
Yeah, he silences it. Oh, no.
No, yeah.
I was going to say, I was still hearing the Emperor Thorsan effect, which is the exact same sound effect as silence, as we mentioned earlier.
Okay.
I was like, oh, yeah, you silenced it. Oh, Gorehowl. He can't even use that because he'll just be getting too low.
He's just dead if he uses... Well, no, depending on what pops out, he's still alive.
Being able to use Shield Slam for free is pretty good, though.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And execute. I mean, so there's a question for you, though. Is it really... Shield Slam and execute are already so cheap, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like a 6-mana Dr. Boom is way better than a 0-mana Shield Slam.
Yeah, but...
Shield Slam's always left over at the end of your turn. It's always an option with 1 mana.
He's got 7 mana this turn, so he Dr. Boom anyway.
Yeah.
He could Dr. Boom and Armorsmith. Whoa! Power play!
And then take 12 damage to the face the next turn.
Next turn is turn 9.
Yeah.
So he's thinking...
And potentially get out, yeah.
How can I play around combo here while still building a board? Dr. Boom's not the way to do it.
No, I guess Sludge Belcher's the only thing that can stand in the way of combo.
Yeah, Sludge Belcher's hiding Armorsmith behind it. Seems...
Yeah, and armor up.
Seems reasonable.
Oh. Wait.
He's going to execute
He's going to execute it. Yeah, respecting the combo. The more bodies on the board for the Savage Roar, the scarier it is.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a decent board to throw a Sylvanas down on. She can kill the first iteration of the Belcher, presumably. If you're the warrior, you don't want to give the opportunity for him to steal your Armorsmith when you're only at 15 health. But then there's Dr. Boom.
I heard that's a pretty good card.
Then he's just, oh, hey.
Yeah. Somebody told me one time that Dr. Boom was pretty good.
Yeah, I heard that somewhere.
Might have been crazy, but
The jury's still out on that one, I think.
yeah. The one problematic thing here is that Armor Smith, because to take down the Sludge Belcher plus the slime that comes with it, he has to go through a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think this taking out the Armor Smith now and playing the Sylvanas as maybe not a tool to steal something, but just a tool to keep the pressure up
Yep.
is a great thing.
Always threatening that Savage Roar. Kind of forcing your opponent to make plays, you know.
Yeah.
That's definitely kind of, in my opinion, the best way to play Hearthstone is to try to force them to make a play as opposed to letting them force you into certain plays, you know.
So this turn he's going to need to make sure he gets out of combo range.
Yeah.
Which is a Shield Maiden. But what else can he fit in with the Shield Maiden?
Shield Maiden, though, puts him to, so if he armors up afterwards, puts him to 23 health.
Yeah.
Now, with Sylvanas sitting on the board, or depending on what pops out of the Shredder, if he clears that,
Yeah.
is he actually out of combo range?
Well, he could trade what he has
I guess
on the board
he'd
with
Shield
the
Slam.
Sylvanas.
Yeah.
And then Shield Maiden, Shield Slam the Keeper, and then he could even armor up after that.
Yeah, and then there's the Shredder, who turns into 6 damage if he has combo.
Yeah. So he'd be alive.
So he'd be alive. He'd be clinging to life.
He might even just say, you know what, screw playing around the combo. I'm going to play Dr. Boom.
Yeah, right? There you go.
And this is a Force of Nature draw, or sorry,
If it's Savage Roar...
Savage Roar draw.
Hold on, what's going to pop out of there? If it's Savage Roar, no, but he can.
he can cycle.
He can
for
cycle.
Savage Roar.
He can Wild Growth. So so if it's Savage Roar, he needs 8 mana, so he can either Wild Growth or Wrath to cycle.
Yeah. Ooh.
Oh, and that... Oh,
I can't do it anymore.
No, he's just going for the safer play, the more calculated, control-y play.
Oh. The Dr. Boom.
The Dr. Boom.
Yeah, Dr. Boom becomes the more calculated and controlling play in that situation. But the bad thing is this plays right into Brawl. And the good thing for Trump is he's got Brawl plus Shield Maiden.
Mm-hmm.
So more than likely something not so good is going to come out. The bad thing is those boom bots could hit his face for a lot.
Yeah, potentially 8 damage right there.
Wow, best
Wow. Pretty much best case scenario. And low rolls, too, on both of the bots. All they take is armor.
case. Trump did his praying to RNGs this morning.
Yeah, he did. He's got to be pretty pleased with that result.
Yeah. Shield Maiden, an obvious play.
Yeah, it's got to be Shield Maiden at 15 health.
And, I mean, he might have just stabilized.
Yeah, now you got to start cycling.
Yeah, I mean, he's back up to 20 health. He can armor up every turn.
Yep.
You know, the Druid's out of cards. He knows that one of those is a combo piece. It's starting to look rougher for Leadpaint.
Ooh, Harrison could wind up being pretty meaningful seeing Gorehowl sitting
Yeah,
in
Gorehowl.
hand.
The bad thing though is that Gorehowl only gives you 1 card.
Well, right, but it also
it's big impact. Yeah,
it is big impact, and even though you only get 1 card out of it, you're also sort of removing 7 charges of a weapon potentially. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, you could just go. Oh, if Alex Strauss is here, he's dead to combo.
He is dead to combo. You can't just let yourself be dead to combo like that.
Yeah, I think you probably just Gorehowl.
Yeah.
He could even Gromish and then armor up because he's seen the BGH.
Yeah, there you go.
Wait, has he seen the BGH from? Yeah, he has seen the BGH, which I think is a better play because next turn he can Alex Straza.
Yep.
Still be healthy enough with nothing on
And
board.
he can actually finish him with Gorehowl and Grom.
Yeah. Well, not quite.
Well, yeah, so if he takes this trade here,
Yeah.
Alex
it would take-
draws him down to 15.
over 2 turns. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. Black Knight doesn't help him.
Nope.
He's got a Force of Nature and Hero Power.
Wow, he does, doesn't he?
Yeah, or he can just leave it alive. No, he can't do that.
That feels rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can't really play that zombie Chow even just as a little body at this point.
You can
because
tell he's looking over at Trump a little bit, trying to get a read on him. He's like, what do you got?
yeah.
Why did you do that to me?
Trump has really turned this one around. I would have thought he might have been in quite a bit of trouble there with Force of Nature already in hand.
Yeah.
And a couple cycle mechanics too in hand. Oh, and mind you, a 5 mana Force of Nature.
Yeah.
But he has really turned this one around. Now Leadpaint's in trouble. He might only run 1 Force of Nature.
It's true. And that face on Trump right now, that's the face of a cold-blooded killer.
That's exactly right, man.
Rubbing his chin like it ain't no thing. He can even heal for some with this Fire War Axe.
Yeah.
Or style points with the Gore Howl. This seems weird.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
This is like the Harrison bait, I guess.
Yeah, right?
Like, oh, look at this juicy Fire War Axe.
Yeah, now, and unfortunately, that Leadbait's already got his hand. He's already got his cursor on Harrison. He's going to put it right down.
Yeah. Ooh, 2 shades, okay. I mean, this could be problematic. Brawl's gone.
Yeah, that's right. He doesn't necessarily need Force of Nature in order for Savage Roar to win the game. Although at 22 health. Oh, okay. Well, Shade, you had hopes, you had dreams.
The dream was alive. Now, the
they all
bad thing,
came
though,
crashing
is,
down.
The Harrison's just going to trade into the Baron Ganon, but it's still 2 for 1. He also draws a card from the Accolade of Pain.
Yep.
Gets to armor up, so 24 health is well enough. Or 22 health.
All right. What's it going to be?
Where are these Savage Roars?
I know. This is brutal.
I feel like that's like the 10th swipe.
Yeah, he has got to be just so upset not to see one of these by now.
Yeah.
I think now he's just, I don't even think he's that upset. I think now he's just focused completely on what's the math here. You know, I know I've got him in here.
Yeah.
How many cards are left? What does he have to do now that Grom is gone to actually finish me?
Yeah.
You know?
Now, Gore Howl is still risky because he Gore Howls and armors up afterwards. He's at 19 health, which he dies to combo next turn to the Shade. So that's, no matter what he does this turn, he... Oh, never mind.
There you go.
Well, now if he plays the Shield Maiden, I mean, he wouldn't be able to clear off the Ancient of Lore. So
Right.
There'd be more damage represented, actually.
Yeah.
So he needs to Gore Howl here. Or Gore Howl armor up would be his best chance. We know that he's not dead next turn.
Yeah.
But
He doesn't know that, that's for sure. Especially with just how many cards Leadpaint's going through. Trump's thinking the same thing Leadpaint is. How have I not seen a Savage Roar by now?
Yeah. And now Trump's gotten rid of his win condition.
Yeah.
Grom is gone.
That's right.
Innervate, though, is not the good deck.
No, that's not what you're hoping to see necessarily.
He's seen Brawl, so he's just trying to flood the board.
Yeah, he knows that how many cards are left in his deck. He knows the statistics are so good that the next card he sees is Savage Roar. I just need bodies.
See if we can get our spectator to hover over the card counts.
Yeah.
But it's... Oh, 8 cards for the Warrior.
8 cards in the Warrior deck. How many?
In the Druid.
How many in the Druid?
You can do...
It's gotta be...
Okay.
It's gotta be 2. 5?
Yeah.
5, I'm being told.
Okay, 5 cards.
5 cards in his deck. So he's presumably running 2 of them. He's got nearly a 50% chance this one. If he doesn't get it, he does have a 50% chance the next turn.
But does he have lethal with it? He's going to Shield Slam the Black Knight.
Yeah.
Let's see, Savage Roar would be...
So Savage Roar would be... So he's going to be a 4/4. So that's 6 damage. Plus 3. Plus 2.
No, he's not even close.
He's not even... Yeah. You've got to get Lotheb out, I guess, and then have another body.
Yeah. And he's got a hero power here to protect that slime because he wants that slime to eat a Gore Howl hit. So that way the next turn it doesn't clear the Shade. I mean, he's going to pick away at that armor.
Yeah. There's something to be said about the impact that could wind up having.
Oh, no!
Oh, Sludge Belcher. Leadpaint cannot catch a break here. Every time he's like, okay, I statistically just got to get it this turn. Well, okay, now you got to get through the Sludge Belcher before you can really do it, though.
He goes into his collection after the game, realizes he forgot to put Savage Roars in his deck.
Oh! That would feel so terrible. I'd feel so bad.
No, I'm sure they're just at the very bottom.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, the old 2-heal Alex Straza. Oh, wow. There it is, and he can't kill Alex Straza without killing himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
That's
Trump
it.
going to take the 3-1 win over Leadpaint.
Yeah.
Wow.
Little rough
Yeah.
having, I mean, we don't know if he runs 2 Savage Roars, but if he does, if he runs 2 pieces of combos for either of them in the bottom 5 cards, but he goes ahead and concedes out. And Trump, very well played.
Yeah, absolutely. As usual, I think exactly what you can expect from Trump is just a lot of high-value plays and cards and always knowing exactly what his opponent's deck is going to be trying to do at any given time.
Yeah, Lemurian, he played well. Also, his Mech Mage game really stood out to me. And Trump did have some breaks, but other than that, I think pretty straightforward series. Lemurian, of course, not out.
Right.
This is Group B. That's the first match of Group B.
Yeah.
So he'll just be moving down to the elimination match, and he'll face the loser of Silent Storm and Roger.
Yep. Now, that is a real slugfest, I think, coming up. It's going to be really exciting to see how that one's going to shake down.
Yeah, both these players, Roger coming off his second-place finish at the VIA Game House Cup, which was very recent. Silent Storm.
A lot of solid players, by the way, at the VIA Game House Cup.
And that was a huge bracket, too. There was a qualifier for it as well, plus this. I think it was a 16-player bracket that was actually there.
Yep.
And then Silent Storm, the Season 1 Hearthstone Legendary Series winner. And this guy, we've seen him so many times already in the studio competing, and we've already given him a lot of money.
Yes, we have, and he's hoping that we're going to give him a little bit more. Now, of course, we do want to thank our sponsors. That would be Plantronics Gaming and Gigabyte G1. Go to those links down below and support the Hearthstone Legendary Series, and that will maybe make it even possible for us to give Silent Storm even more money if he were to come back to the LAN final at Season 2. And, of course, keep sending in those tweets. That is at the hashtag, well, not at the hashtag. You get what I'm saying. It's hashtag HLS at ESL Hearthstone. Send us those tweets. Who do you think's going to win this next match? It's going to be Roger versus Silent Storm when we come back.